Captain Log star date 0201202009.5. Starship Excelsior's log NCC 77246. Good morning, my crew. This is your lovely admiral speaking, or captain. So I have a few things to discuss with you this morning, doing the physical fit of the ship and crew. Now, I'm supposed to be going to Starbase Portlandia soon to get some rest and relaxation and to get some business done while I'm at it. Unfortunately, I'm having some complications, and etc. on a lot of different feelings right now. Literally feelings. They're just literally feelings.
Different feelings, yes.
I mean, for one, I'm looking forward to my vacation. I really am. So it is. Yes, I was just wondering when you were going to go use your doggy bed again that Daddy bought you. So basically, what's going on is there's a lot going on right now, and basically, are we getting a little lag? I hope not.
You better not be. You're the only one using the internet.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm hardwired, so it shouldn't be lagging and cutting out for a few seconds. Anyways, I was just moving around, so I guess. Anywho, let's hope this doesn't lag now. So. As you all know, once in a while I actually talk about, besides Chloe problems, I talk about personal problems. And so a couple things going on. So last night I spent till wee hours in the morning talking to Jose. I got to spend a lot of time with him. I appreciate that. I've had a couple people on my Facebook group, Twitter, Tumblr, etc. That my followers, they turned around and they were bitching to me.
What are they bitching about?
Well, one was they were bitching about how I couldn't, that they were saying, I shouldn't go to Portland because basically I don't have the finances to go to Portland. It's and I'm stretching out money thin as it is because I'm taking care of Chloe. And then the reason they're bitching about it is they said this shirt's been used 5 times in a row and that I need to take it off and change shirts and wear something that's clean. And because I can't afford the laundry, I shouldn't even think about going and spending money to go buy a ticket to Portland on the grounds. I can't even buy laundry, I mean, literally, they're like, you need more socks, more underwear, no trip to Portland, and you need more quarters because, you got a bunny, but you also had, I mean, literally, I had a basket. I had to air dry my clothes because, and then people say, look, you got a selfish son of a bitch. That's what they're saying. Selfish son of a bitch who basically used your quarters for their laundry and then turned around and you got wet, moldy clothes basically while their clothes were all dry. So I'm supposed to allocate more money while Chloe's here to cover laundry. Instead of $20, I need to at least make it $40 or even $50 for freaking laundry. I mean, literally, that is something that really stinks, and,
What does stink?
and
Yeah.
And so, on top of all of that crap, and then they turn around, right? And they're like, look, it's the beginning of the month. You made your money last 29 days before you ran out, right? The 29, you can make it last longer if you didn't have a mouth to feed. But you got a mouth to feed, so technically you need to think about that mouth to feed, then going off and spending 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever length in Portland. I mean, I get this freaking flack all the time. You need to think about the quarters. You need to think about, other things. Well, I mean, literally, I had someone tell me outright, if you're willing to travel to Portland, then you're willing to sacrifice a lot because that quote unquote, unless I have doctor's appointments, basically they're saying I'm buying money, I'm throwing money away because I could have bought socks and underwear and pants. And I mean, literally, they're like, what would the state think about that? You know, what would the state think about you taking a trip, right? Right?
Right.
So I was thinking this morning, I was going to share this post to you. I won't give in the name, but a certain somebody who's just been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Basically spent $140 on a cookie, a pot cookie they ate. I'm sorry, but if you're spending $140 in a dispensary in Arizona for a pot cookie, then someone shouldn't be complaining about me spending money to go to frickin' Oregon. I mean, literally, the person brings in less than me. But $140 for a pot cookie? I mean, is there something wrong with this picture? If you're on government funds, you shouldn't be buying pot. I mean, I hear the whole fucking argument over and over about fucking other issues, you know.
And yet they do the same thing.
I hear the argument all the time, you know, don't do this, don't do that. You shouldn't be buying booze. There goes, it's sluggish a bit for a second because, you know, the movement. But yeah, I get here people say, well, my money shouldn't be used on Social Security for pot. You shouldn't be smoking pot. You shouldn't be paying $140 for pot, you pothead. Well, if I got to listen to some son of a bitch turn around and argue with me over fucking pot, then I have to hear people say you shouldn't be buying beer, you shouldn't be buying wine, you shouldn't be buying hard liquor. I mean, literally, I hear arguments all the time about this fucking shit. And yet I got to sit here and listen to people say, well, you mean, literally. Now, I got a lot on my mind, and that pot cookie thing was on my mind this morning. I'm sorry to say. Literally, I mean, literally.
Yes, it shouldn't be. I mean, they shouldn't be spending it on a pot cookie. Debate. Okay.
Okay. Getting angry because, you know, I wanted a debate, a clear debate over the fucking taxpayers' money and what should be used for. Chloe wanted to debate this morning. And you know, one of the things that Chloe wanted to talk about was this freaking pot stuff. Fortunately, Chloe's more interested in freaking her game than anything.
No,
and people
I'm
that,
not interested in my game.
And then people turn around and tell me to get rid of her. Well, that's one thing I want to debate this morning about. Debating about getting rid of Chloe, okay?
Okay.
And because of it, the microphone is over there, so you guys usually can't hear Chloe that well anyways. So let me just explain what's going on, all right? So Chloe's mom basically sent her a message a few days ago stating that she's willing to get her a ticket home. Chloe's all excited. Chloe gets to go home finally. You know, I asked my family about the underlying what do you call it? The underlying reasons for it, and all I get is it's not my problem. Well, let's just debate on not my problem for a minute, you know, because I am kind of discouraged, and I'll explain why to all you lovey-doveys out there, okay, and everyone. Now, the reason I asked about the underlying issue is because, you know, what if Chloe's mom's got a personal agenda, you know, and Chloe doesn't know? It's just like, here, you're coming home, or it's she doesn't like what I'm saying on YouTube videos about her, you know, about her or something. I mean, there's got to be something that's saying what she's saying, you know, and because of it, you know, Chloe's turning around and, you know, it's like, oh, I get to go home now. But, you know, the thing is, Chloe wants to go home because of the Social Security issue. Now, Social Security issue, as everyone knows, is she has an appointment. Fortunately, the Social Security problem was the boats broke down. So between Chloe's going to bed at like 4 in the morning, which I didn't tell the lady that on the issue, to other issues, like the 4 in the morning thing, etc. Chloe turned around and is leaving. So Chloe turns around, and she's arguing with me about the logical answer. Okay, she's like, it's telling me I'm stupid, and I'm dumb.
You're not dumb.
And she's saying I'm dumb and stupid because I got to think about the future, And one of the things is that she said she, it was Can't you just put your computer up and it doesn't matter.
No, okay. The thing is, I can't live off someone else's income, and this is what I'm going to talk about. I can't live off other people's income because it's not right. And the thing is, I know this, and this is why I have plans to leave and go home. Because at least then,
you should be on the camera at least.
Okay. Well, I would clean my face
off. It doesn't matter. The camera is linked to this.
Okay. At least then, Rita could live, without having to financially support someone else and feed in our mouth. And that's what should happen. Is I should leave and I should go home and just, and work on myself there. And that's what I plan to do.
Well, what about the Soul
Portland trip?
No, the Social Security lady. The Portland trip,
Social Security lady, well, the thing is, they don't want anything to do with me. They just want to close the case and just say that I don't qualify. That's a downright.
So you basically think the lady lied and isn't really sending something in the mail. That's what you think.
Well, I know so. It's because, look at it. We screwed up. I screwed up, actually.
We didn't screw up that way. The boat broke down.
That's not how she sees it, though.
She sees it as she's working on getting you your appointment. But if you flee, then what happens?
I have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, you can't feed another mouth.
Well, the argument is valid, but, how about the argument about, all right, if I can't feed another mouth, since you got the camera right now.
You can't feed another mouth.
So, the other question is, the arguments we had, back and back about the quarters.
The quarters, yes. Laundry costs a lot of money, and it's costing more money. And the thing is, here's the truth about the laundry. Rita can only afford to do her own laundry, not mine included.
And blankets, by the way, aren't cheap because we have a bunny, so we have to keep replacing towels and buy more cheaply rolled up fleece blankets put under there, and that's not cheap either.
They're not cheap. It's not cheap at all. Nothing's cheap.
And then on top of this, Chloe was arguing with me. I gotta dump this out, but Chloe was also arguing, just so you know, about Portland. And I'd like to get a debate on that one started.
Well, the thing is, Portland, and her family said, Rita's family said they'd help pay for the trip, right? That they would buy a ticket and everything, but now she has to pay for everything on her own.
I actually was buying the ticket myself.
Yeah, she's buying. Okay.
I never said.
Okay, she's buying a ticket herself.
Yeah, the correction is they never offered a ticket. So
they never offer a ticket, but they're not offering to pick you up, which you need that because they live out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yes and no. Literally, you got to understand. that basically they're working. I mean, I was told to ask my cousin, but you know as well as I do, I don't want to ask my cousin after that fiasco. And two is he's busy, so busy that honestly, you know, I won't ask my cousin anyways because you know he's already taken a lot of time off his duties. I mean, look, they had to they had to take. Sorry about that. I had a little phlegm. Usually, you know, they had to take care of Tara Dinky's parents that came in. Remember, so they've already taken time off to go get them and everything else. So they can't afford to take more time off. For me, you know.
Yeah, but still, your family. You should, you know. They should at least, you know.
Well, like I said, they care. They just don't have time to take off. They can't lose money by picking me up. I mean, literally. I mean,
and why should you go if you have no one picking you up?
Well, because you know, it's the way it is. It's the way of the land. Law of the land. You know, it's the way it is. I mean, I'm getting in at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They don't get off for several hours, so you know, I'd have to work my way through, you know, through the railways and through the, you know, the Max line to go down there, you know. And the problem isn't about the Max line so much is, you know, just getting down there, but you know, or are you worried about the whole public transportation thing and carrying a suitcase, me looking like a tourist?
Yes, exactly.
And me transit or intersex, you think I'm going to be mugged or my computer's going to be boosted, so you really don't want me going for that reason too?
Yeah, I'm just worried for your safety. I am.
Well, getting down there's no problem. I mean, you know, the other problem is, what was it you were saying? That I couldn't find Poppy's house on my own in Cleveland even if I had a month.
You wouldn't. That's right. You wouldn't. You need someone to help you find things.
And on top of this, right, here's the really bad kicker, okay? She turns around and she looks at me and she says, look, you know, shows me on this whole Portland thing. You don't need to go to Portland because, you know, A, you got quarters to buy. B, you got an extra mouth to feed. C, you got to make sure you get your groceries. And she's like, look, ferry tickets aren't cheap.
They aren't. They're expensive.
$14 a person right now. And then on top of it, she turns around, you know, and she's also saying, look, you know, do you have a backup on the money? I mean, she was arguing with me about last night before she went to bed about there's a lady on the island that does bunny sitting. It's $20 a day. She says you're paying between $200 and $400 for your bunny just to go down to. I mean, literally, she's arguing with me, you know, and she says, look, I'm leaving, so there's no one's going to look after your bunny. I mean, you don't need to fork out this much money. You should be happy to be at home by yourself.
Yep. Home by yourself, that's the best thing to do.
And then she argues with me again when I mean, literally, this is the way she sees it, okay? This is how Chloe sees it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Chloe was saying, right? Weren't you arguing with me? You were saying that, and we won't give the name of the city where my family lives. We have respect for them, don't we?
Yeah.
We respect Dinky.
Yes.
But Chloe was basically stating that I would be there on a vacation with no way out unless I want to go to the post office or to the local tavern. Otherwise, or the little local grocery store. Otherwise, I'm stuck there. You know?
Exactly. You're stuck out there.
And she's like, at least out here, you can just climb up the stairs when your back's not killing you. Which today, Chloe's got an errand to do. She's leaving around 11:15 to do an errand, which is an hour. But you get the idea. She's been arguing with me. She's like, look, you know, you got a train ticket. Then you got whatever groceries you got to buy in Oregon. You said that too, groceries, remember?
Yeah, groceries.
And you said, how are you supposed to juggle groceries here, groceries there? And being stuck out there, you know. And I said, well, they got internet. She's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, literally.
It doesn't matter.
She's like, you got internet at home. I mean, you know, and et cetera, you know, and literally, you know. And I said to her, I said, look, apparently, and here's the thing that was interesting last night. Me and Chloe were debating. We weren't arguing. We weren't raising our voice, were we?
We're debating.
We're playing Uno, and she says, "Well, you know, you got to buy $40 to $60 because the dryer's broken. You got to take that into account. I know you're trying to make your money last." And you know, then she says, "Look, you can't go to the grocery store all the time, daily, to get your groceries. You know, you used to just go to Costco or Walmart and buy your stuff, and you know, etc." She's like, you know. And then she turned around and told me, "Look, I want you to eat healthier. Salad's on sale this week at the store. Let's pick some salad up, you know, eat a little healthier. Throw some salad dressing on it."
Yeah, eat a little healthier. Salad's healthier for you instead of the fried stuff.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, Chloe was like, "Look, you know, you know, I mean, Chloe was also saying, look, eating out is expensive. You know, I was making a joke with Dinky about going to Rock Bottom. She says, oh, that place is closed. Then I said, well, at least I can get a Chick-fil-A. And Chloe's like, that's bad for your heart. Then I said, well, at least I can go to Blue 42, the Tortoise, the Bullpen, B-Dub, Old Chicago, which Chloe doesn't like me going there because she likes their volcano wings. And yet Chloe's like, look, you know, I mean, she's like, you got to make your money last, you know. And I do for the most part. It's just, you know, like she turned around, she said, look, you know, we made everything last pretty good. You know, she was also complaining about Burger King being a little expensive, you know. But, you know, it's like, what? We don't get it? I mean, me and Chloe were walking up to Burger King the other day, and she brought it up again. She goes, I know you like Arby's, but they don't really have any specials anymore.
They don't.
Well, I remember when they had 5 Arby's beefy cheddars for $5. I'd eat a bag of those and be happy, you know.
No, they don't have those.
No, they don't have them, you know, and, you know, so she's sitting there saying, look, you know, you like your wings, you like this, you like that, you like trying things, but you got to look at the cost because, you know, and two is you know, that she was just debating, you know, and then one of the things she said to me, she says, it's really nice that, she said it, your man, Jose, wants to get you a new fly rod, you know, and I said, that's great. No, I want to go fishing with Corey, but, you know, the thing is trying to go fishing, you know, again, you know, I'd be willing to pay an exuberant amount of money for a fishing license. She's like, look, you're willing to pay this much money for a license, but are you going to ever use it, you know, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, literally, she's like, I'm going home, you know, and you need to think about, you know, your needs, you know. I mean, literally, I mean, I buy socks and underwear once a month. And she said, look, Rita, there's people out there messaging you. You tell me that say, change your bloody shirt. You can't wear the same shirt for 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
You know, and et cetera, you know. And I mean, and you know, the thing is, Chloe turns around and says, look, you know, she was arguing with me. This was anything she was well, not arguing, it was a debating. But she was like, look, you're paying money for a trip down to Oregon, yet that money, she said, could go towards more laundry, and you can go and buy pants. She says, you only have 3 pairs of pants. I said, well, I wanted to go to Goodwill. She says, so you're willing to travel and spend at least $80 to $150 for a ticket to go down there when you can spend $80 to $150 and buy pants up here or shirts or, you know, socks and underwear. And I mean, literally, Chloe's just like, look, you know, Chloe was basically saying, can you truly afford this trip?
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, I'm budgeting. And she says, yeah, and you'll run out of money, you know. You know, and she was saying, look, if you want to go off island, you know, to smoke shop or the Walmart or whatever, I mean, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, she was just going on and on and on, ranting and raving and saying, look, if your family cared, they would, you know, uh, pick me up, I mean, and I said, look, they can't take any more work. They took enough work to go get, their, Dinky's mother and father, or if my aunt and uncle came up, they do that for them. But me, so to her, she's just like, well, they don't really care, And what was the word you said that you said to me?
They just don't care.
And that and I was trying to debate with them. She was saying that I'm being uh, used.
Yep.
Really, I'm low on the totem pole, and I'm just a utterly piece of crap to them.
That's how they see it. The honest truth. They put other family members on the priority list, but you're on the bottom of the food chain to them.
What? Because I'm disabled?
I guess that's pretty much how I see it.
Ugh.
And the things are never going to change with them.
I mean, literally, let me just change the camera. So literally,
things aren't going to change with them. It never has, never will.
I mean, I know they care. I know they care for me. And I tried to tell this to Chloe that, we all have to make sacrifices. And she's like, well, you're sacrificing a lot already.
And then you are.
And, Chloe's worried about the finances between the bunny and her leaving, and, et cetera, et cetera. And I told Chloe, I'll believe it when I see it. When her mom's got an e-ticket sent to her and all we got to do is get her to Seattle, then I'll believe it to see it. But, with Chloe's mom's horse passing on because of whatever reason, old age, I think, then, the point is that it's the way it is, and, and then, I was telling the other day, Chloe reminded me last night during Uno. She said, remember your advocate looked at you and said, can you truly afford this trip? You got to think about others, you can't rely on others to, look after your bunny. You can't look after others, to, for other issues, and because this isn't a trip to doctor's appointments, I can't literally ask them for fare tickets. That was the other thing. She's like, I can't just give you fare tickets because it's for doctor's appointments or, so to me it was, no doctor's appointments, it's not, and I mean, literally, I mean, it's the way it is, and literally, it's sad because she's turning around and saying, "Look, you can't go," and I'm saying, "Yes, I can. I got it budgeted. I got to work on the budget today," but they're like, "No, you can't," because you got to plan out carefully and pay more in your quarters, because the dryers, for example, don't work, and she was trying to remind me, that the dryers don't work. So, you need to realize that, even though Chloe's clothes are dry, and people say, oh, well, Chloe should have let you get dried and let her be smelling musty and mildewy. That I got to think of myself, and it's like I do think of myself, and they're like, that's not thinking of yourself, I mean, and so they're basically turning around, and saying, well, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? And I said, well, I have a reason to go down there. I can get a post office box, then I can start getting applications into the PO box there, which Dinky can pick up. And then all I got to do is fill the forms out, and I can get into a wait list. But then again, they're like, well, if your family's moving to Texas, what's the point of even moving?
Exactly. There's no point if they're not going to meet you halfway.
And so Chloe's turning around saying, well, they're not meeting me halfway, so why even bother?
Yeah.
And to me, it's been disturbing me because, San Jose was going to help me out, whether it be for my trip or fly rod or Nintendo Switch Lite or something. And it's like, I shouldn't rely on Jose anyways. That's the other thing Chloe said. Jose is a sweetheart. I agree. And I agree I shouldn't rely on Jose anyways, but still, it's a complicated issue because, the point is the point is, Chloe's just like, look, but Chloe also debated with me and said, look, you can't afford to take care of me. She's like, you can't even get, when you do get underwear and socks, usually Chloe's like, I have to have underwear and socks too, or at least underwear because, whatever reason, or, other issues, and I tried to explain to Chloe, I said, look, Chloe looked at me and she says, when was the last time you actually spent some real money on razors? About 4 months ago. She's like, you need new razors. Your razors are all dull. And so it's a complicated issue, literally she's just, honestly, between Chloe's debating and my advocates debating, they make good points, but to me, I'm still set on going down to Portland, unless, the argument is valid. Literally, Chloe's sitting there playing Uno last night. She's whooping the crap out of me, and she goes, look, does any of she said to me, and I said, oh, well, the issue was about family. She said, does your family realize that you can't just funnel money to go on a trip when it's just so expensive. She says, look, you got a trip going in March you got to take, and it's costing money.
It is.
And she's like, that's costing you money, So she's arguing with me on that one, and she's like, and at the time you got to pay $40 or $60 just to make sure, Ebony's taken care of while you're gone. She says you can't rely on the neighbor, and
neighbor has her own life.
The neighbor has her own life. Neighbor travels all the time to conventions for Jehovah's Witnesses. So, and to me, I'm I'm happy about it, and that she's got her own life. I don't support Jehovah's Witnesses, but but still, Chloe's just like, look, you're putting all your Easter basket or eggs in one Easter basket, and having faith, and sometimes faith doesn't work, but to me, faith does work. It's just like she was saying, and I disagree with her. My family does care. I'm disabled. Okay, so to my argument was I'm disabled. They're not disabled, so they don't have money to go throw around for picking me up, and Chloe's like, well, they don't meet halfway, why bother? And it's like, look, it's fine, but Chloe, it's like, it's not fine. Chloe's determined to leave, and and I said to family, in my inner circle, well, what's Chloe's mom's agenda? And I've had a lot of people say it's not your not your fault, not your problem. Your fault. Your problem. Your is not easy. So to me, it's different, it's just, and then she turned around and Chloe's like, look, yeah, I told her, well, it's good, if I want something small, I can go to the grocery store where my family lives, or I can go to the pub. Chloe's like, you can go to the grocery store here, you can go to a pub here, you don't have to worry about uh, uh, issues. And I said, well, when I'm there, I got Disney Plus, Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, you know, the movie channels I subscribe to, Disney Plus. And she's like, you could watch it at home. You don't need to go all the way down there and spend your time watching movies and other things. I mean, literally. I mean, if you were,
Yeah, if you were, years ago, sometimes, watch out, just, sometimes you got to do what's good for you, not what's good for someone else.
well, I was taught always shower everyone with kindness and help out when I can. So, and Chloe's like, well, look, she's been debating with me over, again, my family, I don't think thinks of me as a piece of crap. Chloe's opinion, and then I said, well, look, if my family thinks of me as a low food on the totem pole or on the food chain, then what does your mom think of you?
Same thing. My mom, likes to put my brother on a pedestal. And she puts other priorities. Yeah, I understand she lost a horse today, and the horse has been in the family for a long time. And I can vouch for that because I remember Spirit that well. I remember Spirit, when my mom first got Spirit. She got Spirit in a small town in Ohio, right? Somewhere like northwest of where we live, right? Some town in Harrison County, Ohio. She got Spirit, and Spirit was pretty much my mom's only horse at the time. I mean, that was like my mom's first ever horse. Second horse was Gold. My mom got Spirit in, I think it was like 94, 95. But she didn't get her next horse until 2003, which was Goldie. That was Christmas of 2003. So yeah, I mean, Spirit was my mom's only horse at the time. And the thing is, and I understand that part, but in the past, though, she's always put my brother on a pedestal and always, care about the horses over my needs, but still, or anyone else's needs. But it's it's a little conundrum, I think, of what my mom does and doesn't do. I mean.
Well, I agree completely with that statement. I literally do, but I also understand, where Chloe's coming from. But the thing is, Chloe, I mean, honestly, I told Chloe in the debate last night that I don't know her mom that well. I can only surmise, and she's doing the same thing, surmise or assume, what my family, as well. I mean, my family looked after me when I had surgeries and, et cetera, et cetera. Yet, you know, you know, uh, Chloe wasn't angry, combative in the argument. She was just like, look, you got a lot more money. You got to balance out for quarters. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. She was like, you're going to be hurting severely when you go down there. And, I don't want to see you hurting, And she says, I also don't want to see you, stuck, all because you decided to go down there because you think you can get some good eats down there, What?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, you need to watch out for your own, financial,
I mean, if you guys didn't know, I was on the phone the other night. I was talking to Poppy, Aaron's dad, and I brought up this trip thing, and he's like, "Look, can you truly afford it? Because if Chloe's truly leaving, let Chloe leave, and let her go home and let her deal with her mom." And I said, "Well, we're still waiting for the Social Security thing." He said, "Well, what's the problem?" Well, the lady, I messaged him the next morning, and I said, Social Security lady said, don't call and until we get the stuff in the mail. And well, I told him Chloe's being impatient, and he's like, well, Chloe might be impatient. Chloe might want to go home. Let her go home. But, the thing is, having Chloe stay here to watch the bunny is, again, is not good because as Chloe said, look, I could stay for the bunny, then leave after your trip to Wenatchee, but Chloe's like, you still got to pay the quarters. You need to pay more than 20 because, you have blankets for the bunny and, you got, to look after yourself. You want to get more underwear and socks or, because of whatever reason, because I always keep underwear and socks in hand and, and she's like, you need to look at um, other issues, like she said, I can't just rely on someone like St. Jose is Valentine's gift to get me through in Portland, and et cetera, et cetera. So to me, it's Chloe's right, I mean, but at the same time, as I told Chloe, and I promised, I got to go down there. But, she's like, well, if my family gets a ticket before you leave, you're screwed anyway. Look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tried to ask, well, how am I screwed if you leave?
Well, who's going to watch the bunny?
Well, if Trish and Kaylee ain't, then Tawny.
Well, let's hope that happens.
Yeah, but you told me I couldn't afford Tawny's price.
I know. How do you spell roar? A-U-R.
A-U-R. O-U-R.
Oh, God. All right, but yeah, I mean, this is not what, I think you should be looking out for your own,
My own needs.
Your own needs, yeah.
And I do. I do. And she's just like, no, you don't. You look at after everyone else's needs. And, Chloe's like, you're taking on everyone else's burdens.
Let me look at it.
I mean, to me, it's hard. Literally, it is literally hard, and sad at the same time, that I had to have a debate last night, and and then afterwards, I spent several hours by myself watching movies and thinking about this, and and that's literally hard. It's literally truly hard, just to um you know I mean, have Chloe turn around and tell me, when I told her, I said, well, at least when I return home, I'll already be paid, and certain bills will be paid. Then I just got to pay the rest of the bills. And then, again, it was like, um, uh, like between now and, the 17th, Chloe's like, I could be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. So to me, I'm like, well, what do I do? And et cetera, and to me, I tried to say, it feels like everyone's against me because, Chloe's going to leave. I'm stuck here, and Chloe's like, if I leave, you get a vacation anyways because, you're by yourself. Yeah, I get a vacation, but I also, Chloe knows, we'll be basically deep cleaning this place, taking care of the bunny, and living by myself, which is fine by me. But at the same time, it's kind of sad because, she's just, literally.
I gotta do what I gotta do.
Well, yeah, I agree with you there, But to me, it feels kind of unfair.
Yes, I know. It is. It is unfair.
But it also makes sense too. At the same time, I mean, literally, literally. Literally, it is unfair because for 4 years we've been trying to get her on disability. In 4 years, there's been a lot of violence, combativeness, etc., etc. So I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, what do I do? And it's not easy, it's not cool,
I know.
To me, it's not cool, and and Chloe turned around and says, "Look, you're going and paying money for a ticket. Yeah, you're also buying Valentine's presents for Jose, and you got to juggle your Valentine's presents, your tickets, your food, your quarters, your everything. Well, to me, I find it to be not cool, but I also understand, Chloe, I think understands, that, my family is got to make a living. They're not disabled, so they got to make a living, but so my argument is valid that they got to make a living, so they can't just come and pick me up. But me, Chloe also knows I'm worried about my computer traveling with me because I'm afraid it might fall apart or the hard drive might fail because the movement of the train or something,
Yeah.
To me, it's just purely sad,
It is sad.
But Chloe.
It's sad to have to rely on someone else who's probably not going to be there. I mean,
Not be there. What do you mean?
I rely on someone who's going to put you through all this, but and you got to look at the finances.
I did. That's why I was working on the finances.
I know.
Literally, and but still, I do think, my family, just can't take the time. So I look into the big picture, whereas Chloe's just like, look, you're a piece of crap to them, and you don't mean anything to them, and I mean, and to me, it hurts. It hurts that that these tactics are being used to keep me here. Because I made a promise, and I want to keep my promise. And so, but at the same time,
I'm looking after your best interests. That's what I am doing. I'm looking what's best for you. Not what's best for other people, but what's best for you. So am I living with Corey, with your cousin and your cousin-in-law? No, I'm living with you. I'm looking out the best for you, not them. I could care less about them because they're not involved in my life.
Well, even so, what's the best interest about you and Ohio? I told you, follow your heart.
Yeah. that's exactly what I'm going to do because you can't financially support me.
Well, no, I can't, and that's because you know as well as I do that I can't financially support you.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
And I agree. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I'm saying the best thing for you to do is to just cut me loose, let me go back home.
Well, that's what you want, anyways.
Well, yeah, because it's the best option.
Oh, I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's the best option, but you know what I disagree with is supporting you for 4 years and all of a sudden you're leaving, and it feels like.
And I know how heartbreaking that is. I understand that. I totally understand that. It's just I'm looking out what's for the best for you, and I care. That's why I have to leave. I have to leave. There's nothing that can be done.
Well, I mean, I agree with that 100%. But I mean, as I told my inner circle, that I'm more concerned about what your mom's agenda is with you. Getting you home. I mean, that's something I'm concerned about. So is the Social Security lady. I mean, if you want to leave, you can cut yourself loose at any time. But what upsets me is the whole. I've been supporting you from April of 2017 to almost April of 2020, and that's 3 years, and yet I've been through hell. I've been through everything else.
Yeah, you've been through hell and everything else. Just but when it comes down to it, you can't support me.
Well, I know this, and and people tell me that all the time. I mean, look how bad I felt, and you know how bad I felt, when it comes to the holidays. Sitting there, right? And my inner circle has a point. I mean, Chloe even said the debate with the inner circle was fine because, we're sitting there at the food bank, right? And all of a sudden, lo and behold, Thanksgiving to Christmas, we ended up with 7 turkeys. Now, someone like me taking care of Chloe, people are like, oh, you're taking care of Chloe, so you need some extra food. Here's a turkey. Again, we ate half a turkey and the turkey went bad. So now we have to start over again because we didn't eat the extra soup and, etc., because, I have depression. And Chloe's like, well, I'm depressing you because, of, the finances. Or, Chloe one time, last month, February, Chloe was arguing with me, and one day I turned around, and I told Chloe, let's go get quarters. We never did. And then what happened? Literally, Chloe went out, got, and I always tell my inner circle I'd like to get a bottle of whiskey, and she's like, no, you don't need it. You'll end up in the ER. So what happened? Went out and picked up some San Juan Island Brewing porter, and I drank some porters, and then next night I had Guinness, and I'm not a big fan of Guinness. I'm sorry. I'll drink the porter over the Guinness any day of the week. And so what happened was she turned around and she's like, look, you needed the beer, but at the same time, you don't need hard liquor. But the reason for the beer was I was having a bad time because of my depression and the fact that certain things like, we never got back to the store for quarters, and every time I would put quarters down, Chloe would forget about it. And, so I had to line dry my clothes and, all this stuff happens, and it depresses me because, again, when it comes to taking care of Chloe, for example, people turned around and here's the other kicker. I'd go into the food bank or I'd go to my advocates. I've told this to her many times. Chloe was, I have my hearing aid in, and, because I have hearing problems. And lo and behold, advocate, she's a neighbor anyway. She's a good close friend. Advocate floods me in and says, look, you're taking care of Chloe. Here's a ham. Okay. And then all of a sudden, I go to the food bank again, and here's another ham, and then another ham. Then I end up having 7 turkeys and 5 hams in my freezer. And people are like, it makes me feel bad because, Chloe's trying to get on disability. Everyone's like, we'll help you out. We are positive Chloe will get disability. But, all of a sudden, uh, the whole problem goes with the the uh, hams, is I got hams, I got a whole bunch of ham, down to one ham now, and I like ham. But anyways, you got ham, okay? You got ham. You can make ham and bean soup, bean and ham soup, ham and bacon soup, bean and bacon soup. I have all these ideas like crock pot. I just gotta get around to do it, and yet at the same time, I'm feeling bad because I gotta take this ham and turn it into soup and make meals out of it, make this, make that, maybe have a ham steak, for breakfast with some eggs, and stretch it out, whereas other people sit there and say, oh, well, you should be lucky you got more than one ham. I feel blessed, I really do, but I also feel like it's a burden because, like I told Chloe, like let me give you an example. The other day, okay, yesterday I had some sandwiches for lunch. That was my one meal. It was tuna sandwiches, all right? And I like mine dripping with mayonnaise. Chloe mixed it up. I ate it. Let me tell you, the bread was stale. It tasted like I was eating moldy bread. No, it's all out of my system now because, but I'm telling you, I didn't feel good. The bread did not taste right, but, thing is I didn't want the bread to go to waste because we got bread where I've been meaning to cook it, and instead, I forget about my English muffins or whatever, fry up an egg and some English muffins or whatever, and, and et cetera, et cetera. So to me, so yesterday, while Chloe's sitting here opening up a can of chili, which I told her, if you're going to make chili, make sure you eat it. Like this morning, there was a pot of chili on the stove that she didn't eat all of. And I was like, to me, your stomach's bigger than your mind. But, with me, I'm always trying to utilize what we have. And yet, we end up with a lot of canned corn, a lot of canned green beans. So I use those in my soups. I use tuna sandwiches, and, when I want tuna, or I like my mushroom soup or my chicken noodle soup or, my tomato soup, and, I utilize those, I let everything else go to Chloe. Chloe's like, oh yeah, I got black beans. Well, we got like 50 cans of black beans in the pantry. And I finally said to Chloe, look, we either donate the black beans back to the food bank, let them donate it to the right people, or we eat them because we don't. To me, I feel like it's a burden. We're taking things that we're not literally utilizing. And I don't use black beans at all. So to her, she's like, oh, I can doctor it up with corn. Well, make meals out of it. It might be a little salty and salt content. But the thing is, with me, when I was living in Moses Lake in Quincy, I utilized the beans. They gave us like pinto beans, so I put some chili pepper in it and I'd eat it, or Frank's Red Hot, throw in a little and mix it up and eat it. I'd have spicy beans. It was fine. That's what the hot sauce was for. But to sit there and see like stacks and stacks of beans in there and it's not being utilized, made me sad. And the other thing is food banks always giving us cereal, yet every time I get ready to eat cereal, for example, the raisins are gone. So we have boxes that we need to go clear out, throw, and then we have mashed potatoes, but the problem with mashed potatoes is I like gravy, so they're providing us boxes of mashed potatoes. I might as well just provide gravy and make mashed potatoes and gravy for dinner. Yeah, I don't mind mashed potatoes and gravy, for dinner. Literally, mashed potatoes and gravy would be a lot healthier than eating a giant bowl of popcorn with a stick of butter in it, for my dinner, And, my family, they're like, is that healthy? No, not really. But, as Chloe knows, dishes are piling up, and all I have available is a pot to make butter, melt butter, and eat a thing of popcorn. I'll eat the popcorn, because et cetera, and people say, oh, well, that's either lazy because the dishes aren't being done. And, I could just take some time to do dishes myself or, et cetera. And, the thing is, I'm, to the point where I'm, upset, that, I feel like Chloe feels like a burden because, people sit there and say, oh, here's some extra groceries. Here's some extra groceries. Whereas it's fine and dandy, but the extra groceries are nice if you eat them, and if you're not eating them, then it makes me feel bad because, we're stacked up in like green beans, wax beans, pinto beans, white beans, northern beans, lentils, dry beans, black beans, refried beans. I mean, all these things. It's like you could utilize all this if you just, instead, Chloe sits there and, goes out and literally lives on ramen. And it's like, look, you got green beans, you got corn. Just open a can of corn, heat it up, eat corn for dinner one night. I mean, it's still a can of corn, yeah, we have enough to get us through for 3 days in an emergency, but still, it's literally sad because, I feel like, a burden. It's like the other day, last night, Chloe was talking to me during Uno, and she says to me, she's like, Rita, and I go, yeah. She's like, Rita, and I go, yeah. That every time we go to Walmart, I usually buy everything I want for myself, and then you have to go spend another $30 for ferry tickets, quote unquote, ferry tickets, mind you, just to go to Walmart for yourself on, say, the 3rd or the 5th to get your groceries, because the 4th is my day I go get groceries, and that's $30 for, actually I think it's 21 with my disabled rate. But I have a pass. It's like 3 years, so I can get ferry fees for like $7.50. It's half the price, or $7. But my point is, it's expensive because not only are you sitting there, like this morning, Chloe's sitting there and Chloe's looking at me. And she comes in from walking Moppy, and she says, oh, by the way, I don't mind you going to Portland, but I don't think it's a good idea to leave the dog on a leash all the time either. It's every other dog gets to be free. Your Moppy is being chained up for 17 days on a leash. It's not nice. So I sat there and I said to her, yeah, because, it's the way it is, but it's a promise, but she turned around today and she looked at me and she said to me outright, she said, what are you looking at? And I go, oh, it was 45 cents for postage stamps. And I guess because the government's postal service is failing and they're trying to privatize it, they're charging like 55 cents for a stamp right now. And me, I like writing letters, so I'll still write my letters by hand, or, print them out on my new printer I get one of these days. And she's like, you have been saying you need a new printer for 2 years, and she goes into details, and et cetera, and she's like, look, when it comes to your letters, it's expensive too. I mean, that's 10 cents per letter more. So if you pay, you buy a book of stamps, that's $2 more for the book because you got to support the local postal service. Now, my postal service everywhere I go knows I support them, but that's just the way it is. And I mean, I already pay through the nose for internet just so I can have email. The main reason was for email, but my email nowadays, it feels like you get less spam mail for unsolicited mail in your mailbox, and you get more spam mail in your email box because you got these places like Yahoo and AOL and Gmail and what do you call it, MSN. They offer you a free email account, but at the return, your free email account comes with spam. For example, you basically, Chloe knows this, you could sit there and you could sit there and you can go ahead, for example, and you can what do you call it? You can uh get a free account, and next thing you're getting emails from stuff that you're searching on. Like I search for video game news, or I search for fly rods or something. Like last night I did fly rod searchings on certain brands. Next today I'm getting emails from Sage and Hardy and all these other places, and it's like, why I never subscribed to them. They're like, oh yes, you did these searches. MSN does the same thing when it comes to their what do you call it, their Outlook account. And so to me it's like why are we having this conversation? Because they got to make money. So it's like one guy was saying he's making $75,000 a month on YouTube ad revenue. Now he's making zero because of your videos is content for kids. But again, the point is people sit there and they say what are you going to do about it, or what's the future, or et cetera, et cetera. It's like not good. I mean, literally, it's not good. And to me, it's sad because you have issues. I mean, literally, like today, for example. Let me give you an example of today for certain issues. For example, Chloe's going to the food bank soon. She's going to also go to the grocery store to pick up toilet paper. We've been out for a couple days, but Chloe's depression and my back killing me, I've not been able to go out much. I literally have to take Tylenol or generics just so I can get through with the back pain because it hurts. And so with me, I've learned how to deal with it, and because of it, that we were out of toilet paper. We kept forgetting to get it. Chloe would go to the store and she'd be like, "Oh, I got the milk," and I'd be like, "Did you get the TP?" "Oh, I forgot." So and it's her depression. She's depressed because she wants to go home. She's depressed because she has no income. She is depressed because she has no money, and yet she keeps telling her mom, "Look, Rita can't support me." And her mom's like, "Ow, ow, my your Rita's money is your money," and it's like that depresses me because, frankly, my money is paying for rent, internet. Which, let's talk about the internet for a second. The internet went down yesterday for like 45 minutes. Chloe's like, "Oh, it's gonna be down all over weekend," and I wanted to just tell her to shut up. Look, the internet will be restored. It's probably a minor hiccup in the system, and it'll be restored. Instead, she's all, "Oh, we're going to lose internet. We're going to lose it. We're not going to." And it upset me because, I have to hear this. Literally, I have to hear this. And it's like, no, the internet will be, quote, unquote, fine. And it restored itself. And so we got the internet up and running. It's been working since. We've only had 3 minor disconnections, 2 at night, which was unscheduled, and this one could have been scheduled, it could have been unscheduled, whatever. But the thing is, they email me all the time. "We're sorry your internet went down for an hour or two. We're so sorry, blah blah blah. There's a problem here or there or whatever," and they explain it. The internet company explains it, but usually it's at nighttime when we're sleeping, so there's no problem. But with Chloe, it's, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" And I mean, literally, that's kind of a burden type thing, And to me, I just is what do you call it? I'm basically dealing with everything I can, And so to me, I'm like, doing what I can. But yeah, like I said, it's Chloe was depressed, so today she's picking toilet paper up because I don't like using a rag because that's not right. And Chloe's always reminding me, oh, you need to order extra toilet paper this coming month. And I do. I usually do, but we usually run out. So, between toilet paper and, whatever, and, et cetera, et cetera, And then there's the other problem, with the finances part where Chloe gets angry too is, Chloe gets combative, like I said, and she gets angry, and it gets very angry. And this is one reason why, Chloe's like, look, I can't control my temper. You need to stay there. You don't need to go to Portland because I need to leave. She says, I can't basically treat you like garbage and be combative and call you names like you're a man with a vag, or a man with fake tits, or man with a fake vag, or you're just an artificial woman, or, all because, as Chloe was saying, all because I'm angry because you've used the word no. There's no money for makeup. Next thing you know, makeup's being ordered because of whatever reason, and Chloe's like, you can't afford it. I mean, I had people turn around and say, that's $40 out of your pocket you're not getting back. You could have put it towards underwear, socks, bras, t-shirts, tights, shoes, Bunny food, but Bunny's always taken care of. We got a bigger bag this month of food, so he's good, but you get the idea. There he is playing with his thing. I just want to make sure he didn't knock his food over. But she if you say no to Chloe, she gets angry. You knock the food over yet? So point is Chloe's basically gets combative towards these things, and again, and it's not cool, and like Chloe said the other day, we were out and about, Chloe's mom doesn't know this, but we were out and about, right? I didn't know, as I told you guys, I think in the story, but Walmart, we went in there and they're trying to tell me come back in 3 weeks, ladies on vacation. I'm like, look, it costs money to get ferry tickets. It costs me bus fare to get here, which it does cost us $5 now to get on a bus from Anacortes to go there. I said, all this, and you're telling me come back in 3 weeks, so I go home empty-handed. Well, the lady basically felt bad, and got my money refunded to me. But at the same time, Chloe's sitting there, and, we were at Burger King. Chloe's like, no, I don't want anything. No, I don't want anything. Your family think I'm a mooch, and, my family will, say you're, whatever. So Chloe had a cup of water, and I ate my burgers. And then, on our way home, we decided I want to check out Safeway, and we never got to Safeway, but we got off in Anacortes with KFC Taco Bell, and I had some food there. I want to try their spicy, they're not spicy, they're crispy chicken sandwich by KFC. I want to get the wings next time I'm in town this coming week. And so, I was sitting there, and, when I was there, before going home, Chloe's like, no, I want a cup of water. I don't want to be a burden to you. And it's, it made me feel bad that she's having water and I'm sitting there literally eating burgers, I mean, my family wouldn't sit there and if I was taking them to dinner or lunch, or whatever, and they'd be like, no, I just want a cup of water. I don't want to be a burden, And to me, it felt bad because of it, But, like I said, Chloe's, feeling unworthy, and then the same principles apply for grocery shopping. I mean, literally, I've said it many times in my videos. What?
No, I'm just
so like for example, like all the time, I would talk to Chloe, and like Chloe turned around and, like Chloe said today, it's not good for me to go down to the grocery store. Okay. So the grocery store has a massive deal right before closing on their chicken tenders. And so, Chloe and I would get chicken tenders. I'd eat what I want, give Chloe the rest. Except the problem is Chloe would, she's like, that's not good for you. It's like, me going to one of the shops around town, for example, and getting fish and chips. And again, the fish is deep fried, even though it's tasty halibut or cod. Again, French fries, it's not good for me. So Chloe's like, wow, it's not good for you. You shouldn't be eating that stuff. You need to look after yourself. Well, eating out is expensive, Chloe. I agree with Chloe. I mean, I was telling Chloe, if she could basically get her chores done, she would have things done here. But, that's the thing, that's the thing. I mean, Chloe would be a good roommate if, she did her chores, not argue about it, like bringing up, oh yeah, the house needs to be cleaned, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Next thing she's not doing it, and it's combativeness, or you motherfucker, I need fucking razors. I'm not growing a fucking beard, and to me it feels bad because I'm sitting there going, we haven't got to Walmart, and I don't want to pay $35 or more. What am I supposed to do? Buy 2 big blocks of toilet paper? Walmart refunded my money, so I guess I can give them some leeway on online ordering again. But what I'm supposed to do? Buy 2 big blocks of toilet paper, a thing of paper towels, and some razors. Yeah, that'll raise the price way high. And then what happens? And she's like, wow, like last night we were having a conversation, and she was talking about razor blades nicely. And I said, yeah, I got to spend $35 or more to get free shipping. Otherwise, it's like $6. I said, what am I supposed to do? Skip the razor blades? She said, no. Am I supposed to buy $35 in razor blades and get free shipping? Yeah, I could do that. No problem. But, the thing is who's got the better deal? Amazon's got the better deal on toilet paper and paper towels. But again, Chloe turns around. It's like, basically thinking I want her to have a giant, no offense, a giant schlong dong and a beard. The thing is I don't want that. But at the same time, we got to look at finances. And, the thing is, I mean, literally it's like food, literally, I've tried to tell her, you want things, you got to earn things. If you don't want things, you can just sit on your computer all day and let everything go to pot, and then when you run away, well, that's fine, literally. I've tried to explain it to her like her mom tried to explain it to her, even though her mom offered her a ticket, that if you're actually leaving the state, you're basically running away from your problem, and, she's like, well, if I can't get it on disability, I need to get a job. Well, that's what, I told the lady this, yesterday, and, and the lady turned around and the lady said, and I quote, well, that's what we really want Chloe to do, because then we can claim she's not disabled because she's willing to go get a job, But I said, well, with her temper, she might lose it. She said, well, if she loses all these jobs, she can reapply and get on disability, for the fact of the matter, that she's, disabled. But, the thing is the lady's like, don't contact me because, until we have the letter in the mail, then sign the letter, have Chloe sign it and send it back, and we will make sure you have your appointment, with taxi and stuff. But, the thing is the lady basically turned around and told me that it might interfere with my trip to Portland anyways, because the lady really wants me there for the psychologist and psychiatrist appointment, and the other appointment to explain in my personality or my opinion, that's what it is, opinion, but why Chloe is disabled, literally. And it's like, well, the thing is, she wants me there, and it's like, I can't give up my trip. But at the same time, she wants me to give up my trip because, of whatever, and, this lady's like, what's more important, Chloe's disability or your trip, and it's like, to me, it's my trip, but again, Chloe's thinking, oh yeah, your family thinks you're, a low food chain piece of crap, and la 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 la, but at the same time, she makes a good point when it comes to freaking the arguments. Literally, the thing about my family thinking me as a piece of crap is just an argument. But if you look at it from a different point of view, if Chloe's mom was going to argue with me, it'd probably be her poppy. or Sam, for example, it'd be the same. I know Sam did tarot cards, we're talking about that, but point is people would sit there and say, well, what are you going to do? You got to look at your finances too. You can't just go plunk down this much money. You could do other things. I mean, literally, and it's sad because frankly, Chloe is the way Chloe is, and the thing is, Chloe is right, but Chloe's wrong. I mean, literally. I mean, look at the big picture of razor blades. I mean, just to get a deal on the razor blades we like because they're really sharp. They're more sharper than those reusable shaving, like those 5-bladed reusable shaving. Where you replace the razors itself, not the razor handle. We buy ones that are disposable that can last a month at a time because they're that sharp. That what are we supposed to go out? Skip that. I mean, yeah, I mean, literally, if you're looking at survival, my family would basically state the same thing. Oh yeah, you gotta buy groceries, you gotta buy razor blades, you gotta buy shit tickets, you gotta buy paper towels, you gotta buy toilet cleaning supplies, you gotta buy all this. By the time you get done, your money's tapped in pretty good, and you gotta make the rest last for your subscriptions to your internet and your everything else. Now I know that everything else is luxury items, but without internet, I'd be going to the library, and I frankly don't like the library. So but so to me it's the internet comes in handy for everything. But the other reason Chloe wants to leave also is not about finances, is because she feels everyone's against her because of the whole thing about her being sexually assaulted by the neighbor, and the neighbor got away with it. So she thinks everyone on the island is against her. They're not. The point is she's basically staying her distance. Yet, the point is, as I said many times, I told the Social Security lady this, Chloe thinks at times that the world owes her. She's owed a living. She's owed food. She's owed internet, but the thing is if you're owed and owed and owed, or her mindset thinks that, she wants to be equal. She wants everyone to be equal with her. So you go to Buffalo Wild Wings without her, she's got to have wings too. Or you go to Burger King, she deserves a burger or whatever. If you spend $20 on your lunch, you're supposed to spend $20 for her. And it's like, again, as Poppy would say, well, what did you do to earn that food? Or whatever. So to me, it's whatever. But Chloe had some valid arguments. Poppy had some valid arguments. But to me, I still have to I have to follow through and go. I mean, yeah, everyone knows I don't like traveling, and the reason I don't like traveling is because you can't guarantee you're going to get off this island with the ferries. The antiquated ferry system, for example, they always break down. Or you might get to the train station, train/transit center, and find out your train's delayed 4 hours because, they don't maintain the trains that well. So the train might be broke down. So you might be stuck there for 4 hours. By the time you get in, it's like 9 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, I know this isn't my family, but all of a sudden, my family might message and say, oh, yeah, the train finally got in at 9 o'clock at night. We'll get on the train line and go to Hillsboro, and we'll get you there. And it's like you got to get it down to the train station at nighttime, where it's not really good to be out at night in Portland. I know this because taxi drivers and everyone else says. Then you get on the train, and then you're hoping your bags and stuff get where you're going. And, you get there, and it's late, So to me, it's literally sad that, but, I'm not blaming my family at all, if the train's delayed. I'm just always, I spent hours upon hours one time right before Christmas when the train stopped every 5 miles because the tracks were frozen and they had to defrost it and repair tracks that were broken. And by the time we got to, I think we were 14 hours late getting into Portland, and it was basically miserable. So, literally, sometimes a bus would come in handy, but again, I, for one, I don't want to really transfer to what do you call it? through Seattle with the bus. So again, it's a big complicated issue. So to me, I don't like traveling because, you got to pack your bags, then you got to take your bags a mile to the ferry and then transfer and then wait at the bus stop and then get on the bus, and it could be raining so your bags might get a little wet, and then you get on the bus and the bus driver might say, oh, well, you're allowed 2 bags, that's too big, you're off the bus. I mean, I've seen it happen, where a guy had a jumbo suitcase and he was told, nope, we're not taking you. Next thing you know, he's missed his train or bus or plane or whatever, so he had to call family and get a taxi or whatever down to Seattle, and it's just a pain in the ass, and all of a sudden, I'm always afraid of that, because usually I travel with my pillows and I travel with my clothes and I travel what I want to take with me, and then I travel with a backpack with my laptop bag. So, but my point is, I bring Chloe along. So Chloe can carry my bag, and I carry my backpack and laptop. So when I'm on the train, it's no problem. But, the point is that trusting public transportation really bothers me too, because even if you get down to the ferry, they could be like, oh yeah, the early ferries broke down, you're stuck, and you're like, oh, well, I need to catch a train. Well, too bad, so they say get insurance. So I always get train insurance, now, and, and they'll be like, oh, what's the reason? Oh, ferry broke down. Oh, okay. Or some other reason, or, so to me, my family knows I don't like traveling because, to me, you got to get up at like 3 a.m. You got to pack your bags. You got to get down to the train, or the bus, the ferry terminal. Then you got to get on the ferry and then sit or loaf around, have a cup of coffee, maybe a breakfast sandwich. And then you get off the ferry, and then you got to wait between 10 and 30 minutes for the bus, and then you get on the bus, and the bus takes you, but the ferry's delayed. All right, I have to go to food bank. All right, so okay, love you. See you when you get back. Yeah, well, I'll be done by then. I gotta use the toilet. But anyways, the point is, my family knows I don't like the thing is, for example, say for example, the early morning ferry, for example, gets delayed. Like for example, they can go to Lopez Island and be 15 minutes late. You miss your fucking bus, then you miss your fucking train, and then you're stuck. And then you're like, you get there and you're like, oh yeah, the ferry was delayed. They had an emergency. Some guy had a heart attack and they had to pull into the next ferry terminal only to airlift him out. So that delayed us. And so to me, I'm always afraid my trip's going to be delayed because of some reason, like the ferry had to stop because of a medical emergency, or you're cruising through the San Juans, Here, let me show you. San Juans are up here, right up here. So for example, if we leave here and the boat goes to Lopez, right? And you're chugging along to go to Lopez, and all of a sudden on the way there's a medical emergency, or the engine cuts at half speed, and then you hear I've seen it happen too on the ferry. This is the captain. The boat's engines are giving trouble, so we're going to be delayed by 45 minutes because at 45 minutes to an hour because our engine's down to 1 engine out of 2, and all of a sudden you're at a crawl, We're going to get to Lopez, and then we're going to unload the cars, and you're sitting there going, oh, well, I missed that fucking bus. And you're thinking to myself, this better not happen to me while, you're getting there, I mean, literally, I told Dinky, my only worry about my trip is, 2 things. Chloe leaves, and there's no bunny sitter because, as Chloe said, it cost me $20 a day to have Tawny do it, or if I can get the neighbor to do it, that's fine. But the neighbor, she's, she knows we're going to Wenatchee in March, so she's willing to do it in March. But I don't know if it'd be, if I told her Chloe's leaving to go home, can you watch the bunny because I got to go to Portland? It might be no. Then I got to pay $20 a day for Tawny, and that worries me. But even if I paid Tawny $20 a day and prepaid ahead of time, What if I get on the ferry and all of a sudden, "Yardos, Captain, we're coming up to Shaw Island and our engine's running slow. We'll be really late." Then I missed my train, and then and with no internet on board the ferry and no way of messaging my family, I get into Anacortes. What happens? Well, there's money for my trip, a ferry trip home, but then they're basically delaying the ferry while they're working on Anacortes, which means by the time I get to the bus, let's just say the ferry's running slow, and that's pulling the Anacortes or Lopez, and then they go from Lopez to Anacortes. And by the time I get there, instead of being in at 7:20, I get in there at like 9 o'clock. The train leaves at 9:03. So again, that whole trip's screwed. I get my money back. My family loses their trip, and it's not fair to them because I'm relying on fucking public transportation, man. It's like my cousin-in-law said the other day. You got to rely on public transportation, but the public transportation system is basically, and for example, if the train was delayed like 2 hours, 3 hours out of Canada or whatever reason, let's just say the train breaks down, and I finally get in at like 10 o'clock at night, they're not going to be happy because they got to come and get me at 10 o'clock at night. So again, it's just basically a bunch of, in my opinion, malarkey. Now I know where Chloe's going with this. I know where I'm going with this. I'm gonna go anyways, take my chances. But if Chloe leaves, Chloe's just like out. It's not cool. But you get the idea. So I'm not literally worried. I'm more not worried. Because it's my family. My family's awesome, and they understand. But my cousin also knows that I like travel, packing my bags, getting up at 3 a.m, feeling like a zombie, washing my face twice, taking a bath, getting ready, getting on the ferry by 5:55, carrying my suitcase, my laptop, and my backpack, getting on the train, or the ferry, and then grabbing a cup of coffee and maybe whatever, and then getting in, and once you get to the station, you talk to Ray, the one of the guys that calls out the trains, and he's a great friend of mine. He's like, oh yeah, and the point is he knows a little about San Juan Island, and there could be problems. If I'm there, it could be like the other day. The train was delayed like 97 minutes. He's sitting there and he says, "Are you riding the train today, Ray?" And I go, "No." And he's like, "Well, it's 97 minutes late." And I looked at Chloe and I says, "Wow." And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." And then the other train was delayed 65 minutes for whatever reasons, northbound. So yeah, northbound, southbound delayed. I'm sitting there going, well, I just want to wait to get on the bus to go to Walmart. So, to me, I mean, literally, this is how I live, okay? Before I sign off, go use the toilet. I am a woman who dreads traveling. I mean, I dread getting up in the morning and being like, oh yeah, it's 3 a.m. I got to go to Walmart, or set the tablet's alarm, next thing you know, I'm up and getting ready to go to Walmart. We got our little cooler and our little grocery cart. We get down there and, and another reason I dread the ferries, because Chloe's a person that, when she is up all night playing her computer games, people say, "Oh, that's bipolar." No, it's borderline. Borderline and bipolar overlap each other and symptoms. So, I mean, literally, she sits there and she's up all night, and then all of a sudden in the morning, it's like we got to go grocery shopping. And she's like, "I don't really go." Well, then things happen. We don't go, or we do go. And it's boring on the ferry because she's sitting there sleeping, and I'm writing a letter to Jose, which I don't mind. But at times I don't mind a good conversation. Like last time we got enough sleep, so we were on the ferry, talking about Walmart and layaway money and refund at Burger King or some food place to eat, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's like Chloe turning around because today's Saturday and we have 2 days until we go out to pay bills. And, this morning she's like, "Oh, are you going to go and get breakfast?" And I said, "I thought about it." And she said, "You should skip your breakfast because it's going to cost you more money for your breakfast than almost your ferry ticket, your ferry ticket, and then your snacks for the ferry and the the train ride, and then you got to pay your uh, um, uh, you know, your train fare in Portland just to go get to your cousin. And she says, "What if you run out of money by then? Then what?" I said, that would be a bad idea. You run out of money, you know." She says, "Yeah, you run out of money before you get there. Then what happens? You're stuck in Portland without a bus pass to get you to Beaverton." She's like, "Think of it that way." So to her, she's like, "Think of it that way," you know. And so to me, you know, she's worried about finances, you know. Don't go and eat out. Usually I like to go to omelet, but you know, the last time I had the omelet didn't taste that good. So I don't know if I'm gonna have breakfast, but you know, she's like, "Don't get breakfast, don't do this," you know. And she's like, "Don't forget, we gotta get needles for our hormones." And so again, that's like $20. So, you know, because we're out. And so, you know, that lasts us like 6 months. So to me, I'm like, that's not bad, but still that's $20 that, you know. So to me, you know, you got all these expenses, and she's trying to explain it. You got all these expenses. Can you really travel? You know, I mean, you got to go to Wenatchee in March. Well, I tried to set up appointment to see a couple doctors in Portland because it's easier for Portland. I could see family as well as go to these doctor's appointments, no problem, except, you know, those appointments were canceled because, you know, my family said, "Oh yeah, my cousin and cousin-in-law came in," and I mean my cousin-in-law's family came to visit. She hasn't had them out for Christmas like 10 years, which is awesome that she got to spend it with her parents. Yeah, Chloe turns around, you know, and it's like, you know, like saying, "Oh, well, you know, you're a piece of crap to them. They'll go and pick up their family at the airport, but they won't pick you up." Well, guess what? What if they picked up the family after after work? I mean, that would basically state that, you know, they weren't working at the time. They just drove down to pick them up. It's not like them basically doing it during their work hours. I mean, literally. But again, you know, the thing is that her family came and visited, so we know that her family took time off of work to you know, to hang out with them, you know, during days that they were there for a week. So that's cool. I don't care. That's awesome. I support them. But you know, to hear Chloe say, "Well, you know, you're not really family to them because, you know, they don't really care for you. Otherwise, they pick you up." Well, the thing is, my cousin keeps asking me to talk to my cousin Corey. Well, I haven't talked to Corey yet, but, you know, as everyone knows, Dinky knows, I really don't like fucking traveling. I hate traveling. I mean, I had to go, as Dinky, you know, like once a month, go to Portland for hair removal and everything else just to go and get in, you know, and get surgery done. You know, now my doctors, you know, message me saying, "Oh, well, you know, they're not recommending laser because laser doesn't last as long, and yet, you know, I could be having problems with my dilator not fitting in because of the too much hair." You know, hey, Mom. So, you know, basically that's too much info, but you get the idea. So, you know, Chloe, you know, there's always I always look at the positive, but I also look at the big picture, and Chloe doesn't like that, you know. And my family knows I look at the big picture, you know, and my family also knows I look after Chloe, but, you know, Chloe's right. If she leaves, there might not be someone for the bunny, and that's what bothers me. But, you know, I got to take this chance, you know, anyways. I just don't want to lose my bunny, and I don't want my, you know. But at the same time, Chloe's always arguing about, "Oh, well, it's not nice to have Moppy on a leash." Well, that's true, but you know what? It's I promised, and you know, I mean, literally, and you know, my family offered me help anyways because they know I need to get a vacation. But if Chloe leaves, as Chloe's talking about now, knock on wood, then my vacation's here anyways, as she's saying, as she's gone. So anyway, look at what's the point, you know? But to me, point is you know, and everyone knows, okay, let's just say hypothetically, Chloe gets a ticket shortly, okay, and leaves before my trip to Portland. Then I get a refund on my ticket, but at the same time, I can't get Bun taken care of, so I'm stuck here. But at the same time, what happens to me? I'll explain what happens. That means I got to spend a week deep cleaning this entire apartment because Chloe won't do it. There you have it, right there. She won't do it. She'll basically not do it at all. So, you know, because she wants me to give her stuff, but she won't earn it. So I tried to reward the good and not give the bad. I mean, look, I looked at Chloe this morning and I said, "There's a chunk taken out of my dip can." She goes, "I didn't know you noticed it. It's a brand new can. I never took a pinch out. I opened it up last night and went to sleep. I didn't know you were going to look in there this morning." Yeah, I did, because I woke up this morning and hearing the jingling sound of my can on the table, and I knew you took some. She's like, I said, "Can't you ask before you take?" And she's just like, but you get the idea. So, with all the finances and everything, Chloe had this argument, debate, and in the end, it's just not good. So I've gone long enough. I got to use the toilet. So there's your video for today. We got it done early so I can actually go and do stuff today, like gaming and other gaming and spreadsheets and other gaming and, et cetera, and so forth and so on. So with that said, everyone, please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's wholesome fun, even for your family, including your dogs and your bunnies. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you have a blessed, happy Saturday and Sunday. Thanks for watching, and Captain's Log out. USS Excelsior, NCC 77246. This transmission ends now.